We will move on to 9D. Let's consider a motion to approve electric vehicle charging station, authorize the Sustainability Commission to submit grant application for Clean Energy Resource Team's seed grant to pay the labor involved in that installation.
Maybe I'll try to start with. So, at the budget workshop, Kay feels that she maybe didn't make it completely clear to all the council on what action we are asking for the electrical vehicle charging station. So what we've attempted to do in this report is re-clarify what the motion asked for, and then some options that you're afforded by taking whatever action you wish to take. So as staff, we had asked to put the grant in, and you have the ability to accept the grant at a later date or not accept it at a later date. That's what Kay felt she wanted to relate to you at the last meeting. It didn't come out that way. It came out that there also was to actually install and erect the electric vehicle charging station in a facility and have it paid for by public funds along with the grant. So I think Councilmember Becker had said he didn't really understand that when Kay said that, and she admitted she probably did not articulate that close enough. So tonight the action is, how would you like to proceed? The grant was submitted, so we have done that as staff. We have not heard back on the grant yet. Middle of December. So then it would come back to the council, for approval to accept the grant or not accept the grant. If you look at the alternatives, motion to authorize staff to construct the EV charging station contingent on whether the city receives a grant, which we felt that's what we asked for last time. Approve a motion to require the EV charging station to include the credit card reader system. Approve a motion to authorize staff to construct the EV charging station without the grant or credit card reader system, which was one of the options from before, or any combination of the three alternatives proposed. So I think as far as what I'm going to tell you is, I think you folks have to revisit the item and decide how you'd like to proceed. And any of those alternatives are available to you. And I can tell you we already did the grant, so that part is done.
John?
Yeah, I'm going to take responsibility for kind of initiating some of this confusion because I was confused at the last meeting. My understanding was that we were only approving the grant application, or to proceed with the grant application, and that we would revisit the electrical vehicles, or the electric vehicle charging station when we formulate the 2018 budget. But the way it was written, it was. When I reread it, it appeared to me that we did approve the electrical vehicle station by virtue of the consent agreement. That wasn't my understanding in the budget workshop meeting when I asked Kay, because I was confused. Why are we discussing it during the 2018 budget workshop meeting when it's on the agenda for the regular council meeting the following meeting? It just didn't make any sense to me that we would talk about something 2018 and then take action on it at the very next meeting. I was confused. I didn't read it as carefully as I could have or should have. I just want some clarification on what we're doing. And my feeling is, we just proceeded with what I thought we were doing, which was to apply for the grant, get the grant, and then evaluate our options at that point. So that's, I guess, all I have to say at this point.
So, what John is trying to say is we approved moving forward with the whole project, in essence, at the last council meeting, not just applying for the grant. That's what John is, and he did not feel that staff did our job to articulate that to you folks during the whole process.
Yeah, I asked Kay point blank.
Yes.
So what are we doing in the next? And she said we're approving the grant.
And that was our intent, but the write-up.
Exactly.
The write-up came from the Sustainability Commission, was kind of there. And maybe I didn't take enough time into this report to break it down as well as I should have into more of a 1, 2, 3 type of thing instead of a one motion fits all.
But I thought we were having a healthy discussion about it during the budget workshop. We just ran out of time.
Dan?
Is this a budgeted item for 2017?
No, this wasn't budgeted.
Dustin?
Yeah. Sean, or I was wondering, if we didn't do the card reader, could we put an hour meter on it just so we could see how much it's being used?
I think, I don't know for sure, but I would assume it probably has that capability built right into it, yeah.
Oh, all right.
Well, just as a point of order, we've already voted on this. So, it got voted on unanimously. So, if we're gonna redo a vote on this, I'd like somebody to actually make a formal request to bring it back up, and then we can re-vote on it if we really want to re-vote on this thing. But technically, it's already been passed. I'm just a little confused on how this got put on the agenda when it's already been voted on. Now, and it doesn't say anything about being brought back up by, and it takes, you know, at least one of us to bring it back up. I mean, I'm just confused here on how, we already voted on it, it was a unanimous vote, and now it's being brought back up without somebody actually formally asking to get it brought up, and then that goes to one meeting, and then it gets brought up at the next meeting. So I'm just confused here.
Yeah, two comments. One, I mean, if the council believed they're voting on one, you know, only to put it towards the grant, I mean, that's what was voted on then. You know, if that was the intent of the council, that was the action taken by council, regardless of whether it's improperly worded in the agenda, because you can't just mistakenly vote on what's worded in an agenda if that was not the intent, and you clarified what are we voting on, and that's what the council voted on. I don't have that exact scenario in my mind, but if that's, or you know, the replay as to what happened, but if that's what happened, then you just voted on the grant piece, if that's how it was presented to you. Second issue is someone could do a motion to reconsider, in which case, under your council rules, that's the only thing you vote on tonight is the motion to reconsider.
Correct.
And then it comes back to the next council meeting.
Correct. That's what I'm
So
getting at.
perhaps that's the proper procedure to follow to clarify what it was you voted on. As Rick explained, the grant's already been applied for. I mean, so that's done, but you still can decide whether to accept that grant once you know whether it's been awarded or not.
Do we know what the specific motion was? The specific motion that was made?
Hold on.
It was
It'll be in the
consent
minutes,
agenda.
so let's just take a quick look at the minutes.
8F.
So it was the consent
Yeah.
agenda.
I mean, I guess, like I said,
The only reason I'm questioning this, and John, I totally get where you're coming from, okay? The only reason I'm questioning this whole is, it's a procedural thing, but I got it. I knew what we were voting on.
I know.
And I'm not hearing it from a whole bunch of other council members. Yeah, well, we didn't know what we were voting on. So if somebody else didn't understand what we were voting on, I wish they'd come forward and say, let's reconsider this.
Okay.
But to answer Dan's question, I'm going to try to get it as quickly as I can, unless you've already punched it up.
Motion to approve electric vehicle charging station and authorize the Sustainability Commission to submit grant application for Clean Energy Resource Team's seed grant to pay for the labor involved in that installation. The Sustainability Commission approved the EV charging station and the grant application at their meeting on September 26, 2017, and is requesting approval from council. Number 1, motion to approve electrical vehicle charging station. Number 2, authorize the Sustainability Commission to submit the grant.
And then to pay for the labor portion of the installation.
Yeah.
So
Right.
if you look in the report, it's the second page, or the third page. Actually, we attached the report from the last meeting so that there was no confusion on what the motion was.
Hey, Dan, could you just quickly tell me what that was on, what letter it was?
8F.
8F.
Peggy?
I frankly didn't like this because I don't like our competing with the private sector. I had a problem with that, but I think it's clear that at least a majority of the council understood that we were moving forward with that, and we've spent enough time on this.
I agree with Peggy.
I guess that the only reason I would, I felt the merit to bring it up is it was a specific question I asked immediately before the meeting, and it was a public hearing, so it was a matter of public record. When I asked Kay what we were voting on, and she said, we're only voting on the grant application.
Then are you making a motion to have this reconsidered?
I am making a motion to have the vote from the consent agenda 8F reconsidered.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by John, second by Dan, to reconsider 8F from our last meeting. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, to reconsider? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No.
No.
Motion carried.
Just clarification. I mean, the only thing that changes is we're not proceeding forward with the electrical. It could still come back after.
It's coming back
No,
at
it's
the
coming
next
back.
It's
council
coming
meeting.
back at the next meeting.
Yeah, the whole thing will come back at the next meeting.
Okay, good. Thank you.
That's when it gets discussed.
Okay.